Hey, good morning, traders. Welcome to the opening print. I'm Fleri. With me again this week is Aaron from Mind Unbound. Aaron, and we're coming to you guys from the Place Your Trades Network. And today we're going to be talking about a handful of things. Obviously, we're going to be placing some trades, but we've had some big moves off of, again, new yearly lows. And we've got a new segment for you guys that I'm excited to talk about as well, and a little bit about the path of destruction that both the buyers and the sellers really kind of have laid here over the last week or so. So we've got a lot coming for you guys. And then again, today's podcast is brought to you by Tradeovate. And Tradeovate, they've built a custom app dedicated to trading the event contracts. That's what we're all using to trade these event contracts. And if you use the link in chat, definitely check that out. Use the link in chat to start using the Tradeovate web app for free, where you can follow along with our trades or place your own picks. Once you sign up, your first pick will be free from Tradeovate. So that's pretty cool little deal there. Just make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel, set notifications so you never miss an opening print with the group. And yeah, we just appreciate you guys joining us and smashing that like and subscribe button. So without further ado, Aaron, man, how's it feel to be you today, man?
Feels good, man. Just trying to stay positive and test negative, man. Watching this overnight gap.
I like that, man. What I'm if my eyes are a little red here, I was up late trying to continue to chase some of these trades. Just unbelievable action kind of in the market over the last several days. But I mean, we've kind of been in this choppy type market. We talked about that, Job and I, last week. Very directional market. You're seeing these like directional moves off the open. Sometimes they're just kind of fizzling, these like delayed open drives. We saw another V bottom pull back to the OR yesterday, which is like, I think the second time all year in this bear market. So again, like some glimmers of some bullish type things happening here, and I think we'll talk about a bunch of that. But one of the things that we kind of want to bring out here is this new segment, and we're going to call it sort of Get Wrecked. So let's take a look at that. All right. So I brought up a chart here. Aaron, you and I have been having this conversation, for the last few days, really about some of these key areas that we've gotten into and sort of this rally that we've started. So in the spirit of this get wrecked idea here, we've got buyers who have been sort of charging from the CPI print lows, right? I think everyone expected some continuation from essentially where that print went to. It's continued down, sort of like historically throughout all of this, like these prints that were negative have saw some version of continuation, and we just rallied from that point. So obviously some shorts sort of in trouble potentially from down there, but we're also kind of coming into an area where if buyers don't sort of continue through, we could see them get wrecked as well. So from that get wrecked perspective, what are we looking at kind of coming into today? What kind of auction do we have big picture here?
What I'm looking at here and what everyone's looking at, those red boxes are island reversals, basically islands that then gapped up and then gapped below those balances. And you'll see what we have here recently is we had an island reversal to the upside that then put in another island reverse to the downside. And the red line is where we're currently trading. So we're about to gap back into that upper one that had reversed prior, trapping all of those that are in the green box and still potentially short. So to me, this is a really good spot for things like the event contracts, because there's a very clear area to manage risk. So if we drop back into that green box, especially below that blue line, I think we're going to probably drop all the way back to the bottom down to that 35.80 area. But if we can hold that here at the open, hold this big gap, you're going to leave a lot of trapped people, a lot of people getting wrecked down below us. If we drop back down there, you're going to have a lot of people that we're chasing and going to be out of position and get wrecked to the bull side. And I think it pushes us lower and they start to liquidate. I lost your mic, Fleri.
Sorry. That's sort of the spot that we're in here, right? In ES, specifically, they push, we've got some delta levels up there, but if they push that 3,800 and some of those swing highs over there, I think like that's going to be like the second significant swing high that comes into sort of like those levels that you're drawing there, your island reversal. It starts to get pretty serious at that juncture. Now, with that being said, we do have sort of this big outside leg. So once they kind of like pop up there, if they satisfy trend, they could walk that back almost all the way into that green box in some way, shape, or form, and still have this be like the start of a bullish leg up. So I think it's a precarious spot. We also have, like to your point, like this move up, we've wrecked a bunch of sellers. Like people were trying to short probably at that gap that's been going a bunch of times. They've been trying to short these pop and stalls like yesterday, the open drive that just sort of lingered. And we get this move back to the OR, but then nothing happens, right? Like it just bottoms out of there. So I think you've got a bunch of trapped shorts down lower, which in theory, should create some buy side liquidity, even if we do push down. So it's an interesting spot where I think we potentially could need to go lower to find more buyers. We're getting to that exhausted stage. And I mean, we talked about it. I feel like I'm setting myself up to get wrecked today, but we talked about it before we hopped on here. I was saying sort of that old, like, we've gone up too much. Like, I just want to fade this move. Like, it can't go any higher. And I feel like that's exactly the spot where you end up like trying to short a trend day up all day. So, with that being said, there's a handful of things that I look at, which, I'll jump into because it'll have something to do with my pick that, I like the case for testing some of that red zone up there and potentially, trying to see if we can get like a liquidation type move above, maybe 11.68 in NQ and 3,800 in ES, and kind of slip into some of these sort of void type areas where you've got low liquidity and probably a bunch of stops. But that was kind of our get wrecked. We've got the opportunity for both sides, I think, to get wrecked today. So I think a very interesting auction and a tough job in front of us. With that being said, I think we're here to play some trades, right? And we're doing that in these event contracts on days like today, where we've had this, multiple days of continuation. We're in sort of this key spot. If we do get a move up, it could be significant. If we do get a reversal, that could also be significant as well. And so I think, this is why these event contracts can be so great is, maybe you can get a little bit of skin in the game on some of these further out or sort of like, out of the money or long shot type calls in this, or picking your yes nos. And, you don't necessarily have to try to hold a runner through some of these big levels or things like that, or even, trade what could be a pretty tough day. But anyways, Aaron, why don't you tell us a little bit about these event contracts before we jump into what our picks are, and just give the folks listening a reminder of what that looks like.
I mean, the event contracts really track the most widely traded and liquid futures markets, and really just provide a simple yes or no functionality to different levels in those markets. And for me, on a day like this, when you have very clear signs of where we break down and where we might be heading if this holds, they give you a favorable edge to just simplify your process and give it a simple yes or no. And I've been using them in some ways as a hedge. I've been using them at times to play directional moves throughout the day when I scalp futures. And for me, I can just leave the trade on. They close out at the end of the day. So it's a relatively simple way to play a intraday swing for me. And you can close them out at any time. So once they're in the money, they tend to move pretty quickly. So if you're on the right direction move, they pay off pretty nicely.
I think that's going to have a big thing to do with some of my trade ideas today as well. I know Deli was in here saying he's diehard. He just holds them to they either print or they don't. But I think you and I have seen a lot of success in sort of like trying to find some mispriced strikes throughout the day where there's an opportunity for a couple sigma rotation towards your strike that could see a couple 100% increase from some of the mispricing that you're able to find in these. But with that being said, why don't we jump in? Let's start to play some trades here. All right, Aaron, I've got the strikes pulled up for you. I think you're going NQ. So without further ado, man, why don't you place your trade?
Yeah, man. What I'm looking at today is for some continuation in NQ. We had a prior gap that we then gapped below, and we are now gapping back above that gap, just like we are in ES. But I think NQ has a little bit more room to run to the upside. So my targeted trade, I took the yes on the 11,500. So I'll be holding that trade throughout the day. I'm looking for us to get up there. There's a lot of resistance just above 11,500. So I think we get there, and then I'll have to make a decision on, can we hold that area towards the end of the day to see if I want to hold on to that trade in the end of the day, or perhaps flip positions once we get up there, and then maybe target a move lower. And also keep an eye on ES. If it's getting up into resistance and we can't break higher, or we see aggressive sellers come in, then I'll exit. But I'm already in the trade. I'm already in the money in that trade. So for me, I still think we're moving higher. If we can hold this overlapping gap, unless sellers immediately attack the open, I think it's going to be real tough. It's going to be a buoyant market. When we're in these type of markets where it's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater, I want to be long and just ride the wave.
It's either a beach ball or a Led Zeppelin, one or the other. All right, well, let's get Drake out here. Let's see what he's got to say about it, as well as the chat. All right, so let's see. Do we have any chat comments here? Don't see anything in chat.
Coming with me? You faded me.
Yeah, guys, let us know in the chat. Is Aaron's trade? Is it going to be a trade or a fade? He's saying basically a bullish stance. He's going yes on NQ 11,500. Leroy agrees with you. We've got a Leroy up as it sits right now. Basically, and we're opening pretty far above it. Call it 11,285. So it's a wide Leroy. It's almost 200 points. It's the second day in a row for Leroy to be in NQ. I tried to fade him yesterday. I faded my own continuation pattern. We're in it again today. We're opening up above it. We've got room in the ATR though, man. And as much as I don't want to fade my pick, I'm going to go with it, man. It's going to be sort of a fade of my trade, but my trade's going to have a little bit of a caveat. I think we can take your trade to the close. Let's get our second day above the ATR high. We do have some struggle up in this like 11.6 area, 11.6, 11.683. But if they get above that, man, which I mean, it could happen, like another 250 points. The only thing is this LVN over top, but I think we can do it. I'm going with you, man. You're right in the middle of that LVN. I think we can do it. So let's go 11.5. Yes, I'm on the Drake yes train with you. We're not fading it, and I like it. So let's see what is chat saying. Got in the yes last night. I love it. All right, that's cool. Uh-oh. Leo's all about fading these overnight moves. It's too far of a move. I'm kind of with Leo just in general here. It's like the old, it can't keep going up, but that's funny. I like that. We can pull that in. All right, well, so you've got your trade. Why don't I jump into mine? I'm going to go with ES. So let me just switch over here. We can kind of take a look at ES and some of the strikes that we've got. And let me pull up ES here. All right, so strike list in ES, we've got same kind of general idea. One of the things that I'm looking at here as well is ES's relationship to where we're at from a resistance perspective to NQ. I think ES is a little bit closer to that key resistance spot. We've already traversed the LVN in ES, and some of the other things that I look at, which would be gapping above an open drive. We gapped above an open drive in ES here that came from Friday, and we gapped above that, and we're pulling right into an open drive range up there. So When we gap above these open drives, typically what you see is some version of like an open test type drive move. But again, given the fact that we're already at resistance, I'm putting a little bit more weight into the fact that we could come back and sort of try to test some of these levels. So I'm going to take the 37.25 no. The 37.25 no. I should have bought it when we were talking earlier, because the 37.25 no was $1.50 cheaper. But I'm looking to potentially try to add to this on pops up. If it happens on the open into resistance, 37.25 no. And I'm definitely looking to try to cover this if we find a bid down somewhere like in like the 37.25-ish area. Like if it comes down into there and these go from say $4 to like $9, I probably just call it good enough there. If we go up first, I want to load up a little bit more on these and see if we can sort of reject this 3,800 level in ES. So I'm going to go 37.25 no. We'll just grab 5 of these right now. Working. So I need to find a market. Cool. All right, so let's get Drake out here and see what he has to say with that. I'm going to keep trying to get a fill on these 37.25 no's. Let's get Drake out here.
All right, guys. Throw up in the chat where you guys at with Fleri's pick here. He's looking a little bearish, looking for the reversal back down. Sounds like all the OFL guys are looking for the pullback down, fading their own Leroy. And you guys think in the chat.
Oh no! Look at that, Job's fading.
Mr. Job. Oh man, I thought he faded me. He faded.
Oh, he might be fading you. I guess I missed that piece. I'm fading myself by taking your yes. So I'm hoping that by fading me, I get either a better price on my trade or I get my pullback and I can cover first.
Yeah. So speaking to your trade, I mean, if the big level that I'm looking at in ES is 37.35. So if we stay above that, I think the bulls are in full control. If they drop back below that level, I think we cruise through your strike. So that's the level where I'm actually looking for pullbacks to buy potentially. So if we do drop below that, I think we can move down and attempt to fill that gap down by yesterday's high. Trading into yesterday's range would obviously be super ugly. So after a gap like this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the hope, right? And honestly, I hope we get your trade first. We pop up, I get a nice discount on these. So yeah, still try to get. Oh, there we go. I got filled on one. I think maybe I was just trying to grab too many. So I get filled on one, and we'll keep trying there. But before we kind of close this out, I saw in chat here a couple people were asking about the Leroy. It is the second day in a row for most of the market to be a Leroy, but you do have Leroy up in ES, continuation 37.70 as it sits right now. You have Leroy up in, and here we can just bring this up here. So you have Leroy up in ES, 1, 2, 3. We have Leroy up in NQ, 1, 2, 3 at around 11,280. We have Leroy up in RTY, 1, 2, 3. It's going to be roughly 1778. No Leroy in CL. Leroy up in YM. It looks like it's going to be about 30,608. No Leroy in 6E. No Leroy in gold. We have one Leroy up in silver at 18,745, which it's already sort of open and printing, and we have no Leroy in copper. So again, silver, YM, RTY, NQ, and ES all showing Leroy up. So we've seen that continuation. We've seen it for a few days. I'm looking for a fade before we pop it back up, but I'm with you, Aaron. So we've got a little bit of a mix. We've got a couple of creative trade ideas here this week. Talked about the opportunity for some of these guys to be in a tough spot where they're, getting wrecked. we could see a pretty decent sort of like grindy option type hedge if we get above some of these key levels that we talked about today. I'm hoping that we pull back first, or at least if we pop up, we get a pullback to be able to get both of these trades. But I think today has the probability to get both of these trades profitable at some juncture. So, with that being said, I think we'll kind of start to wrap it up here. We've done our analysis, we've placed our trades, and now it's time for the opening print. We've got about 10 minutes until that opening print, guys. So whether you're trading it or fading it, hit that like button. Definitely subscribe to the channel as well, guys. All of these links or all of these likes and subscribe certainly help us, help the algorithm. Head on over to placeyourtrades.com if you want a chance to win weekly giveaways. They've got a bunch of stuff going on over there, a newsletter. There's all of our picks. I know some of the other team was putting some spreadsheets and some other things, and just lots of different things going on over there. But if you want a chance to win those weekly giveaways, head on over to placeyourtrades.com, sign up for the mailing list, click the link that's in our chat, guys. Use our link because clearly we've got some of the better alpha here, right? So use our link, and also don't forget to check us out at orderflowlabs.com or on Twitter at orderflowlabs. Aaron, where can they find you?
Twitter at Living Right Co.
At Living Right Co. And then, of course, the Place Your Trades YouTube channel. Again, our link's in there. And then on Twitter at Place Your Trades. They had me singing Ghostbusters or something this morning. I guess there's something strange in the neighborhood, and it's Leroy. Anyways, guys, as always, appreciate Aaron you joining, and just love the conversation with you, and to everybody out there that's either watching live on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube, or later on after Leroy's wrecked this market. We appreciate you guys, and we'll catch up with you guys again real soon. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Fleri. Take care, guys.